Welcome back.
How's your overpriced coffee today, McDohl?
My overpriced coffee?
I'm assuming it's overpriced.
It still doesn't have any of that. Has
No.
correctly priced coffee.
I get store beans.
Hey, listen.
Grocery store beans.
If you don't like coffee, all coffee's overpriced.
That's true. And before you guys give me any more shit for putting Razorvine in this dungeon or in this manor, I just want to point out it was already on the map. So
I don't think we've given you any shit.
McDohl might have.
I just like the idea of like some jackass like just came out with like a potted plant of Razorvine and just started selling it to the locals to make money.
selling Razorvine clippings.
That sounds like what someone would do.
This is the oiliest room you guys have ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And Gustavus has a bird stuck to him.
Get a little taste of Sigil at home.
Also, I think I'm still slippery.
Yeah.
So I immediately fall.
Yeah. Every time you try to stand up.
Somebody cleans you off from being slippery because that's just the kind
Clean
of bird
yourself
he is.
off and get out of here. I want to take a good look at this oil.
Yeah, I clean
And
myself off.
I'm handing you my cigarette as you walk out of the room.
Okay.
Could I use like a tools alchemist check to figure out the properties of the oil that remains in here?
Yeah, go
Tools
ahead.
alchemist supplies?
No, make it an intelligence alchemy supplies.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what I meant.
Yep.
But, sorry, it's a tools proficiency that uses intelligence. That's still going to be it's a 10.
A 10. All you can determine for sure is that these creatures, whatever they are actually secreting this oil. And it looks as though the oil has two different versions of it.
Okay.
The sticky and the slippery. Beyond that, you don't know much about its properties. Or why it might be collecting in this tub.
Does the tub look like it's producing it, or is it just at this point with all the creatures dead, this is just what's left?
The oil is completely opaque, so you actually have to reach down to the tub and fish around if you want to find out if there's anything left in there.
Question.
Yeah.
Those barrels we saw down here, were they watertight?
No, they were not.
Okay.
And there was no traces of oil having been in that room.
We'll check back later to see if there's still the same amount of oil. It's better than reaching into it. Take my cigarette from Gus. So
I'll
is
make
the
a
only
little
thing we have
mark on
left the bricked up walls?
Bricked up walls, I think so.
Lucius, there's a tall, hot, oily man standing next to you.
Can I get some like prestidigitation or something going on in here, please?
You may absolutely do that.
Just like I have 3 wizards like cleaning me off, or 2 wizards.
No, 2 wizards because one of them has a bird. That bird's got to get clean if he's going to be on my shoulder.
Just like I'm holding my arms up and just kind of rubbing my.
Yeah, taking a few moments, you guys manage to de-oil yourselves.
I rub the bird's feet off and then stick him back on Alex's shoulder.
So, I have 2 thoughts on where we could go from here.
Mm-hmm.
One, there could be some kind of passage like through this that we didn't see, considering that they have modified the walls to hide things.
Uh-huh.
Or I could take your crowbar and just knock down this wall.
I say you do that while I do this. I'll search the walls, you crowbar.
Okay.
I'm gonna have Scrappy aid the crowbarring, and I will aid the searching.
Okay. Searching across the walls, you see a trick panel in the back of the bookshelf, where at one point, if there were books lined up on the shelf, you'd be able to slide something in between the leaves of the book that would connect to this little mechanism, whereas if you take the book by the spine and tilt it outward, it would release a latch, opening up a trick door. There are no books on the shelf, so it's just a matter of putting your hand into the back corner with your finger and flicking up the latch.
Gus, we think we've got it.
A trick door.
Gus kind of like disappointedly. All right.
You're fine.
Now flip the switch.
I'm going to step to the side.
And it opens
Flip
up
any switches you want.
a small-sized trick door, a few inches up off the floor, in the back of the bookshelf.
Can I see anything through it?
You see a little bit of the room beyond, if I can find my revealer. That's right here.
What size of a door did you say it was?
Small size, so you guys would be squeezing through it. Most of you would.
Well, the gnomes wouldn't be.
Yeah.
So the room on the other side, it's another hardwood floor,
Mm-hmm.
but Actually, what's your passive perception?
Mine is like 10.
10? Okay. Off to one side, you see part of a deck. A desk.
Mm-hmm.
Off to your right. Are you actually entering the room?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, excellent. Let's roll initiative.
See, that's why I stepped to the side. Everyone keep that in mind. I'm the smart one.
I thought you were trying to position yourself on this side of the door and just kind of...
No, well, at one point I was, but then once I didn't see anything in there.
What is? Why? Why?
That's 17 for me.
Is Scrappy over here, or did you actually bring him?
He was over there.
20.
Okay. Well.
It's okay. He has a ton of movement.
Guys, Tony rolled real bad on his initiative. Tony not taking the initiative this session.
You should go get that. You should dig up that Windy token and use that for token. Use it for Tony.
All right. So we'll come in on his held action.
God, I should.
As you crawl through the space and into the room, a half-orc with a broken tusk, wielding a dagger in each hand, uses held action to stab the hell out of you. But when you attack with a held action, you can only make one melee attack. You don't actually get your full multi-attack in this case, which is good for you because I got a 24 to hit.
That hits.
For 6 points of piercing damage. As he lashes forward with his dagger, catches you under the arm, and he looks a little sturdier than the other two that you previously defeated. He's wearing studded leather armor, and he's a big, burly half-orc. And he looks like he has no intention on no longer stabbing you. But you still have your action.
Oh, well, in that case, Alex is going to reach into his tool belt and pull out a little badge that says hero on it and slap it on his shoulder.
Really?
Hero badge.
Heroism?
Okay. That's the best you can come up with for heroism?
I had to put most of my work into the crossbow and the dog, or the badger. What do you want from me?
It's a plastic sheriff's badge.
Exactly.
This is where the Artificer gives up any pretext that his gadgets are actually reasonably mechanical and they're clearly just magical bullshit.
Some of them are just magical bullshit. Actually, wait, what did he hit me with?
A dagger. He's got a dagger in each
I
hand.
can't shield that, right? I didn't have a reaction yet.
I'm not. It's your turn. We ended on your turn because you were moving into the room, and you triggered his reaction. But no, you're not surprised.
Oh, then in that case, I would have just shielded it.
Okay. What did that
Sorry.
shield turn into?
So that shield puts my armor class at, is it +5?
Yes.
Yeah.
21.
21. That's a miss then. The dagger.
Yeah, so
deflects
one
off
of the devices Alex had built in that was now carrying is like, it looks almost like the strap for a buckler, but it doesn't actually have the shield on it. He just kind of holds it up, and a wall of magical force appears around him.
Gross.
That's magical bullshit.
That's
Yeah.
magical bullshit.
That's the kind of magical bullshit I prepared before. And then, so do I have any movement? Did I just use the 5 feet to go?
You
in?
just used 10 feet to go in because you were. No, you're a small creature, so just 5
I'm
feet
small,
to go in.
Yeah. I'll just move back to here.
Okay.
Orc. And I'll get, like, if I say anything to this guy in common, does he respond at all with, like, intelligence? Like, do you really want to do this?
He tells you that, yeah, he really does. That's going to bring us to...
That's Alex's turn. Scrappy will take the dash action. 5, 10...
Oh, he's not going to finish going to the wall?
25, 30, 35, 45, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75.
Okay.
That was absurd.
No, it's a dash action. That's fine.
It's going to bring us to Gustavo.
Okay. 5, 10, 20. Right here?
Yep.
And, like, Tony just comes with me because he's on my shoulder?
Sure.
Okay. Hey, you know what I'm going to do with this guy? I'm going to grapple him.
You're going to grapple him, okay?
Yes. I gave you the Tony token.
Roll high.
That's a 1, so I doubt that.
No, you try to grapple him, but this is not a spindly little rat folk man. This is a big burly half orc, and you try to get your grip on him. What did you drop so you could grab him?
My hammer.
Okay, so you're holding your shield.
Yes.
All right. What's next?
Yeah, I can't really do anything.
Mhm.
I guess, you know what? Am I in the way of them attacking into here?
I'm gonna say that he's gonna have half cover because the doorway into the space is not a full doorway. It's a small like crawl space.
But it's not because I'm standing here.
I mean, it is because you're standing there. They've only got a little bit of space to look through, and most of it's filled up with your big butt.
Is there a... Yeah, just whatever.
On this side of the room, this desk and chair are actually here.
Yeah. Like, can I stand right here?
Sure.
Do I have enough room to stand right here? Okay.
You can, but you're moving out of his threat range to do that.
Yes, I know.
Deflect attack, that's going to be at disadvantage.
Or he's not actually attacking.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Rude.
It's going to bring us to Tony Hawk.
All right, Tony is going to hop up onto Alexander, since his good friend Gus has abandoned the fight like a coward.
Yeah.
And he is
a
going
gnome
to... Right, a gnome coward.
It is a
And
matter of
since-
public record.
Right. Since he wasn't able to help out Lucius last combat, he's going to flap his wings at this orc
Mm-hmm.
and provide Lucius with advantage.
All right. And are you moving or staying put?
He's staying put on Alex here.
It's very
Okay.
weird to me that, like, you have to roll Tony's initiative, but they specifically say that Scrappy just goes after.
That's
Seems
the difference
like-
between the Find Familiar spell and the class feature.
I think that's the difference of 4 years of development, realizing that I have 2 initiative counts is kind of annoying.
I did put in my notes over here that we might be switching both to either one manner or the other. I was going to bring it up after the session to see get everybody on the same page there. Oh, bye, Nodal. We don't need him anyway. That's going to bring us to Florian's turn.
That's me.
Is it?
Okay, it's 10 feet to get by here, so 5.
Yeah.
15.
That's correct.
We'll go back. I guess I'm leaving the start range if I do that, huh?
You are. You're also climbing up onto that table or going underneath it.
Can I see him from here?
Oh, yeah. You can see him through the open trick door.
Alright. Cool. Bonus action to extract name. He needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Looking at a 7, Haas.
Nope. That is a fail, so he is charmed by me,
Mm-hmm.
and I learn his true name.
It's go to fantasy name generators and pick one.
Cool. Alright, and as my regular action, I'm going to cast Bane on him. So now he needs to make a charisma saving throw.
Is this going to break his charm?
Up to 3 creatures of your choice that you can see within range must make charisma saving throws.
It'd be under extract name. It'll tell you the nature of the charm effect and how and when it ends.
Alright. Extract name.
If it doesn't say, then it's fine. But
Yeah, it
usually a charm effect
say.
would say.
It does not say. On a failed save, the target is charmed by you until the end of your next turn, and you mentally learn the charmed target's name or the fact that it lacks a name.
Or the fact that I don't like the idea that anything could lack a name. Let me take 2 seconds then, because I have actually all the conditions. I have a cheat sheet that I use.
Sure.
It's possible that I didn't like. There's a general way to break charm that I didn't put down.
I feel like if something lacked sentience, it might lack a true name.
That shows
Oh,
a lack of imagination.
Yeah, I think
Mahogany-
people could have named something.
Mahogany lacked sentience at one point. What's his
Is this
true name?
was Ruggy McRugginson?
So the actual charm effect doesn't stipulate when the charm ends. Usually the effect does that, but this doesn't give any.
I think
feel
it
like
ends at the end of his next turn or something, right?
Yeah, the end of his next turn.
Okay,
and also
so-
because extract name allows you to cast Bane, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for Bane to then break it.
Oh, because is extract name the cantrip or is Bane the cantrip?
Bane is the spell
So
that I can cast without a spell slot because I know his name now.
okay, so extract name, is it a cantrip or is it just is it like a class feature?
It is a bonus action.
So it's just a
It's
class,
feature for
Okay.
the
Yeah,
Onomancer.
it's a class.
Gotcha.
feature.
Because that was my next thought. Is it because this is UA material, they might just not have put in a way to break the charm? But it sounds like there's not a way. He's just charmed until the end of your next turn, which means he can't target you with harmful effects. And you now know his true name. And Bane did what to him?
He needs to make a charisma saving throw.
3.
Okay. He must roll a d4 whenever he makes an attack roll or a saving throw, and that is subtracted from the roll.
And that's the effect of the Bane spell.
Yes.
Yes, Batman.
That's essentially the opposite of blast.
Excellent. And are you moving or staying put?
Oh, good. Right
Good.
there.
It's going to bring us to Lucius.
Sorry, I was muted. Lucius is going to get an eye on this guy, and then he's going to cast Command.
Okay.
I need old boy to make a Wisdom saving throw, DC 15.
19.
Roll the d4.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Good call. 19 minus 3 is 16.
Oh, it still passes. It would have passed even with the D4.
Oh.
Moving or staying put?
Um,
What command do you issue to him? Let's start there.
drop his weapons.
And then moving or staying put? I'm going to rule that you're not in his threat range yet because he's going to have very difficult time attacking you with melee through the little hole.
Bonus action, move my hex onto him and then step back.
He is now hexed. That's going to bring us to ya boy. Let's murder Alexander, I think.
Oh no.
That seems
Go ahead and
reasonable,
make
right?
the first one at disadvantage for deflect attack.
Yes. Ooh, 7.
Nope.
Second dagger attack is going to be a 9.
Nope.
Third dagger attack is going to be a 15.
Nope.
And he goes in with his 2 daggers. Goes right, left, right. This very quick dagger flurry. And one of them, how are you deflecting the attack off your magic shield still?
Deflect attack is a feature that Scrappy does.
Oh, it's his reaction.
It's his reaction.
Okay, so Scrappy gets one of the attacks and the other 2 go wide. And he steps in to block anybody else from entering the hole.
Silly orc, half orc.
It's going to be Seeker is up next.
We're not
was
stuck in here with you.
I was disconnected for a moment. At
Yeah.
any point was he bloodied?
No. In fact, he hasn't been damaged yet.
Okay, then I am going to need him to make a Wisdom saving throw.
Yes, sir. It's going to be 6 minus a d4 is 4. So that's going to be a very, very low 1-digit number.
Yeah, that's going to be a big no.
It's like a
And
half-digit number.
He is going to take 3 necrotic damage.
Very good.
Are these bookshelves blocking my backwards movement?
Yes, the bookshelves are standing there. They have shelves facing both your side and the opposite side, but there are no actual books on them.
I'm going to push through you real quick, Lucius, and go over here.
Sure.
Okay, that's going to bring me to Alexander.
Let's go ahead and he gets opportunity attack there if he wants to take it.
Which he does not take.
Okay. And let's go ahead and shoot him with a crossbow.
Okay.
Solid and armor class of 18.
Of 18.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead and roll damage.
For 13 damage.
13. That's a decent chunk. As he catches the
then
bolt in the shoulder, and for a moment there's just a shuddering as he crashes into the bookshelves on the other side here.
And then Scrappy moves in and takes a swipe at him.
Okay.
With his claws. That'll armor class of 22.
22, that's also good.
This is D6 plus 2. D8 plus 2. For 5 force damage.
5 points of force damage.
That's the end of our turns.
Okay. That's going to bring us to Gus.
Can I make an can I attempt to actually intimidate this man? Like stand down or die?
What do you want him to do? You want him to
I want him to drop his weapons, kneel to the ground, and just put his hands on his head. Stand down, or we kill you.
Make
I'm trying to.
strength intimidation check.
That is a. You said strength intimidation.
Yep.
So that is 14.
Did you roll it? Oh,
Yes, I already rolled it.
coward. Fool.
14.
Uh huh.
He's suffered a couple injuries. He's got this crossbow bolt in his shoulder, poking through his armor, and he's being mauled by the bulldog, badger, Wolverine thing. And you see his confidence waver for a moment. Then he just growls at you in response. Are you moving or staying put?
I am going to stay put,
Okay.
and then I draw my spear.
It's going to bring us to Tony Hawk.
All right. Tony Hawk is going to. Actually, I'm curious about something. It doesn't matter. Tony Hawk is going to hop over onto Scrappy,
Okay.
and he is going to flutter his wings and give Florian advantage on his next attack.
I think I can use a little thing here to actually connect Tony to...
I think last time we tried to use that, it made things terrible.
Yeah, it's probably going to be terrible, but I did it anyway. You
It
can't
will
stop
probably
me.
also be extremely funny.
So he's giving advantage to who?
To Florian.
To Florian. That's going to bring us back to Florian right now.
Cool. I'm gonna blast him in the back with a ray of frost.
Blast him with a ray of frost.
Yeah, and I now have advantage on this. That's neat.
You're standing within 5 feet of him, so it's a ranged attack. Is that your intention?
I don't think it's gonna matter, but alright, I'll step back one, and that is a 12 to hit.
12 does not hit. You managed to freeze the backs of the bookshelves.
Only I could fuck up advantage.
Only
No.
you. Moving or staying put?
I'm good.
Lucii.
Well, I'm trying to make a Final Fantasy 15 joke, and it's just not coming. Sorry.
Why would you joke about that game? It's awesome.
I'm gonna do one of those giant magical explosion attacks that just hits Prompto and Gladio the whole time. Does more damage to them than it does the enemies.
Right.
Don't do
By
that
that, I
when he
mean-
has 1 HP.
By the,
So-
I mean, Eldritch Blast to his butt.
Okay.
Aren't we supposed to get rings for that?
It's actually a
We
cure.
didn't buy the DLC. Sorry. That's a 20 to hit.
20 will hit.
He is hexed, so he gets the extra necrotic damage. Ooh, 13? 13 force damage and 5 necrotic damage.
Okay, and he is now bloodied. Are you moving or staying put?
Lucius will call out. This is your last chance, friend.
Alex
I'm
and
safe
Gus standing in the room. You see him. His back is arced in pain as he's been just lit up by this eldritch blast, and he realizes he's surrounded on all sides. And he opens his hands, and both of his daggers clatter to the floor. He says, "No gold is worth this. I yield."
Good shot, Lucius.
Lucius steps in behind him, pulls the manacles out of his pack, starts binding him.
And as you're clapping the manacles on him, he's grumbling and fussing the whole time. You hear him mutter something about how he could have killed all of you if you would have fought fair.
Yep, probably. Sounds like a fool idea.
Lucius,
Yo,
you find a key on his belt as you're binding him.
I want to
Snag
toss this
that.
room.
Toss the room.
Yep.
Under the desk, you see a trap door built into the floor.
Okay. Is there anything of note, like in the drawers of the desk or anywhere?
No, ruffling through it, nothing much here.
Let's pop that trap door open and peer down.
What do you do with the orc? Just put manacles on him and leave him here?
Well, Seeker like looks over at the door and says, "Where's the trap door go?"
And he
Down?
looks at you and he says, "Down."
You said that no gold was worth this. Who's paying you that gold, friend?
And he sneers. He tells you that if you go down the door and use the key... Have you taken the key?
Yeah.
And use the key that you've just pilfered off of him, you'll know soon enough.
Can we?
Is there a ladder on this trapdoor?
Have you opened it up?
Yeah.
Taking the latch and pulling it up, there is indeed a ladder going down into a room with 3 straw beds and a small table.
His name is Merzal, if anyone is curious.
Nobody cares.
His name is, thank you, fantasy name generators.
No, nobody cares. Every half orc is just named Yashnars from now on.
So Yasros is a full orc.
You want to go first, Gus, or should I?
Yes, knows. Can we take like an hour, possibly? Just sit here for an hour and catch our breath?
Yeah, I don't think this guy's going anywhere.
I'd be a little worried if there's some other way to get out, like a hidden passage or something. How bad are you?
Like, I can go on. I'm actually like right up.
I can go
right
in front.
above.
I'll be fine. I got armor.
Are you worried he's going to go out through the door? I'll say that to Gus.
I'm worried that whatever down there is going to get away if we don't go right now. We're making a lot of noise here.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
To which the half orc chuckles and says, "The alarms went off as soon as you opened the door. We've known you've been here the whole time."
Figures as much.
All right, Lucius, Florian, go out ahead of me.
All right.
The half orc named Merzal.
Yeah, Alex will go in the front. Scrappy right behind him.
Okay.
And
How is
Seeker-
Scrappy getting down the trap door?
Hey,
Is there a ladder?
Yeah, there's a ladder going down.
Well, I
Going-
guess the question is, how is he getting back up? And
So
we'll
he's
cross
just-
that bridge when we come to it.
He's just jumping down.
Yeah.
Lucius checks the guy's pockets for anything else that he might possibly use. Like he seems the squirrely sort. He might have like thieves' tools or something on him.
He does not. He's got a couple of daggers, and that's it.
oh,
I will take those daggers.
yeah. I was gonna say, take the daggers.
And you just see the sour look on his face as you make no bones about stealing his property right in front of him.
Like, he goes,
Point to the
"Weird."
corner and say, "You just sit right there. Sit tight."
Did you
We'll be
bind
back
his
for
legs
a
at all?
bit."
do
I-
Lucius and Florian go through the door when Seeker asked them to?
Did anybody
Yes.
else bring rope?
I mean, can
I
you
have-
just use the manacles in one of the bookshelves? Like, just put the manacles through his arms through one of the shelves?
There's nowhere to like loop manacles through these.
Okay.
These are wooden
Yeah.
bookshelves. They're solid.
Seeker pulls out a piece of chalk from within his pack and begins marking out the outside of the door that the others had moved through, drawing various sigils on the outside, and then steps through and says, "He'll be here when we get back."
What have you actually
That's what
done?
I recommend he is. Absolutely nothing. That's an
Absolutely nothing.
intelligence deception check.
I have 50 feet of rope. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like-
make a intelligence deception versus his arcana.
That is a 13.
13. Okay.
Yeah, Scrappy just drops down. He can go first, and hopefully Tony holds onto the back and pulls his wings out, and maybe they glide.
There is a 0% chance that this hawk can carry what I have to imagine is a 600-pound.
Oh, he doesn't even
Badger.
try. The second the thing goes through, he lands down and glides down on top of him.
Yeah, you guys can use the ladder to climb down into room 7 down here, which
No,
just looks
but-
to be a couple of straw mattresses and then a wooden lockbox in the corner.
I do have 50 feet of rope. I am literally just going to use all 50 feet to tie this poor half orc up.
Okay.
Like it's from head to toe, like as comically. Like if I had a mustache, I could put him on some train tracks. That's
Okay.
So I'm
Did you
pretty
sh-
good at
Did you
disarming traps, but
Subarashi our poor half-orc friend?
I'm
Yes.
pretty good at disarming traps, but I'm not great at finding them.
Lucius
Seeker.
steps down into the goes down into the pit there.
And I'm kind of looking here at this lockbox, like.
Oh, it's a lockbox, but it's not actually locked. You see a loop
Oh.
where a padlock could be affixed, but there's not one there.
I mean, after the carpet, I'm still going to be a little paranoid.
Oh yeah.
Everybody, get away from the lockbox for a minute.
Do you want me to detect magic?
Is it going to take 10 minutes?
It will take 10 minutes.
Then no. Just get everybody back in the corner, just flatten against the wall.
Just yeah.
And I'll have Scrappy open the box once everyone else is away from it.
Okay, he gets his nose up under the lid and throws it open, and inside are just some personal effects.
Okay.
Changes of clothes, a couple extra daggers,
Sorry, after
two light
the
crossbows
carpet, I'm
are
a
down
little
in there.
paranoid.
and a couple
Oh,
of
I'm-
coin purses.
The second they go to open up that door, Seeker climbs up to near the top of the ladder.
Well,
All right,
that-
go ahead.
They're not opening the door, they're opening up the box.
No, I know, but this is post box.
Post box.
Yep. And I'll open the door.
How many daggers?
Huh?
How many daggers were in the box?
2.
Okay, I'm just keeping running total because we could,
Yeah.
you know.
Looking into this room. It's a workshop where you see a lot of mundane components are kept. Lengths of chain, wood and iron scraps. You see cured leather in various shapes and sizes. Stacks of blank, worthless coins shaped from different stones or other material. A couple of broken crossbows in need of repair. On one of the tables, you see a small collection of what look like sewing needles of various length. And a pair of small ceramic casks as well. This is in addition to standard like tinker's tools and alchemy tools and things.
You said needles?
Yeah.
That look like sewing needles. Are these stairs down?
These are stairs down. At the top of it, though, it's crisscrossed with several chains with a heavy padlock in the center. And a keyhole. And then
I'm
this
gonna
door
send-
going through the back here is bricked up.
I'm going to send Scrappy to stand guard on the door, or on the stairs, and I'm going to come in here. Assuming I set off all the traps, let's go over to these needles. Do they look at all like the ones that conjured those lightning guys?
Not all of them.
Sacrificial
You find
palace?
a couple of them, like maybe 2 or 3, that look like they're very, very similar, if not exact. But then you see some of longer lengths and some of smaller lengths.
Oh, good. Larger or small? And I'll hold them up for, I think Florian or Lucius was looking at these before. Oh, good. So we can get small or bigger, even bigger lightning imps.
Lucius will take a look at him, see if that does that because Lucius has spent quite a bit of time studying these things.
Okay? And just like I described, some of them could be pretty close or exact matches with the ones that you've seen previously. And then you've got longer and smaller ones.
You said there was a set of tinker's tools?
There's a set of tinker's tools and a set of alchemy supplies to do
I am
just standard
absolutely
tinkers and
taking the
alchemist stuff.
tinker's tools.
I mean, take the alchemy supplies too. We could sell them.
We can sell those, but the tinker's tools are actually they're on my shopping list right now. So
So who's carrying all this stuff?
Like, I'm
How heavy are Tinker's tools?
yeah. I mean, like, how heavy is an alchemy kit?
I mean,
We can get
alchemy supplies, you're talking like alembics and beakers, you're talking kind of specialized equipment that if you
Well,
put in
like,
a pack might get broken.
I'm saying is like we should we'll leave it here for now. And
Yeah.
We'll get it on the way out.
Yeah,
Like-
if you're thinking we're not going to take it on the way out,
Right.
don't worry, Gus. We've got you.
Is this box actually here?
Sure, but when you go through it, it's just the kind of stuff that I mentioned already.
You said
Lucius, well, Lucius takes the half orc's 2 daggers,
Yeah.
puts them in the box, closes it.
Okay?
all right, you want to hand me that key? I'll go first.
before you said there were ceramic casks.
There's 2 small ceramic casks, like oversized jars, sitting on a table next to the alchemy supplies. One of them, when you approach, is empty. The other one has a stopper on the top fitted with a wax seal.
Seeker, when he sees Gus going over there, just Gus, probably not alcohol.
That's not why I. Okay, but listen.
Are you saying I'm wrong? Come on.
This is not what I was going over here to do. Like, okay. Like,
I'm sorry.
are they? Like, the trust is real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to lodge a formal complaint. Anyway, the one that's when you say are they like turned sideways? You said there's
No,
like
they're kind of oversized jars sitting on the table. One of them is empty. The other one has a stopper sealed with wax.
I just want to open it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do anything. I just want to look and see what's in it.
And it takes a pretty decent amount of torque to turn this this stopper this way and that, and the wax comes loose with a pop, and this cloud of something inside kind of bursts forth, and for a moment you hack and cough and wheeze as this impossibly fine powder has kind of burst out of the ceramic jug, and you manage to get some of it in your nostrils and in your mouth. And as it's there, as your eyes are stinging, the room fills with this incredibly pungent odor. The powder inside is incredibly fine. We're talking like impossibly fine sand or powder, and it's rust colored. But the way that it's interacted with your face, it's incredibly acrid and very, very irritating.
Okay.
It feels like it's soft in looking at it, but it feels very abrasive on your face and in your orifices.
I'm going to just put the lid back on.
Okay.
Yeah. And then like this other one, could Alex, for example, store some of that alcohol oil in it?
You can store whatever you want in it.
Okay.
The stopper is sitting, for that one, is sitting nearby, but not another block of wax.
Right. So I'm just going to put the stopper back on that one.
Okay, and it slides down into the jug because there's no wax to prevent it from doing so.
That's fine. Okay.
Ugh, I'll have to take a look at that stuff later. Someone's got a key.
Yeah, here you go.
Everybody ready to go? And Alex hoists his crossbow.
From the other side of the room, Seeker says, "Yup."
All right, I'll pop this padlock off, and then it'll be Scrappy than me.
Unlock the padlock, and it takes you a few seconds to unwind the chain and pull it loose, as it's kind of just wound back and forth between these boards that are set up. Because the stairs themselves don't have a door, but they've kind of achieved the same effect by winding this chain back and forth. And you're heading down the stairs. So Scrappy's going first?
Yeah, then me.
Heading downstairs, down into 17 here, you see pretty much what's similar to the workshop above. So as you make your way to the bottom of the stairs, on the opposite side of the room, you see a table with what looks like sailing supplies. Gaff hooks, some lengths of rigging. You notice a small stack of cannonballs, a couple of small barrels sitting on the table of what you can only imagine to be dragon powder, and some empty crates off to your left. Directly in front of you is a bookshelf, but you can't see what's standing on it because you're coming down the stairs. And as you come down the stairs, you hear a voice from on the other side of this hallway that simply says, "All right, that's close enough. State your business." It's a human voice, male, and in perfectly articulate common.
We're supposed to be doing some Warlock proofing, but it seems to have gone pretty poorly.
You hear him, the voice, laugh from the other roof, or from the other room. So, "I'm sorry, friend, I'm not sure what you mean. I would ask that you speak clearly."
Looks like you've got some sales down here. Have any of those gone missing recently?
He says that you didn't break into his house and kill his men to have a light conversation. He'd rather you get directly to the point. Why are you here?
We're investigating a plot that tried to blow up a part of the town, and looks like sales from here were used in it.
He asks you if you have the ability to detect magic.
One of my companions does.
He says he gives you leave to do so.
All right, we're going to move into the room. I'm going to put my crossbow down, so if you don't attack me, I won't attack you. Is that fair?
He says that's more than fair.
Scrappy, you go first. He won't attack you either.
I like how you add that as an afterthought. Like he's like, "Hey man, I'm putting the crossbow down. I'm coming in slowly." And the badger just bursts into the room.
Hey.
Looking back in the corner here, there's a small wine cellar. Sitting in the back corner is a man in a chair, kind of lounging back on two legs. And he has a heavily tinkered with crossbow that he's holding in his hand that's sitting on his lap. And it's actually, the front of it, it looks less like a crossbow and more like a miniaturized ballista. So the front of it is actually resting on like a tripod in front of him.
Yep. Alex will nod in appreciation to that.
He's a well-dressed man, well-groomed. And he just watches your every movement as you guys come down the stairs.
I won't let him get any closer. Florian, can you do the magic eyes?
You got it, buddy. And Florian begins the detect magic ritual.
You doing it as a ritual?
Yeah. It's going to take 10 minutes.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing for that 10 minutes?
Enjoy the banter with this guy.
I'm watching this guy the entire time.
I'm gonna cast Detect Magic as a ritual as well. I don't see any reason why not to have both of us look at it, and I don't always trust Florian's judgment.
You're now also not down in my room. I don't know where you are.
That is very wise.
No, I mean, no, you're right. I'm not right at the moment.
I have no idea where you are.
I mean,
Alex
right
is,
over here.
Alex is generally pretty patient. He's just gonna wait for the
As they
detect magic.
prepare the ritual, the man, you can tell that he knows what they're doing. And he looks and says, "It's just the 6 of you. I'm sorry, 7. He nods to the bird.
Yes.
The math checks out, yes.
Tony bows lowly.
May I ask who you're employed by?
Flumph.
He shakes his head, so I haven't heard of them.
Investigators.
That explains how you found the warehouse, I suppose.
Yeah.
I've been sloppy in cleaning up my breadcrumbs. Is that it?
Well, you might have trusted the wrong people, but I don't want to make a judgment call there. I'm not good at judging people either.
He says since you're here to kill him, can I at least have the benefit of your names?
Boy, I wish I could ask Alexander if that. Or I'm sorry, I wish I could ask Florian if that's a. He's currently talking magic mumbo jumbo. Alexander Flintraker. This is Scrappy.
He points out that as your companions are indisposed, you might have to introduce them as well.
Lucius Udoc.
Udoc, that name is known to me.
I imagine it is.
So what exactly kind of crimes did you do that you're going to have to be executed? Because, I mean, right now I'm seeing smuggling, but...
We literally just came here to ask questions. You shot arrows at us first.
Says you broke into my abode.
Your front door was wide open.
That's a lie.
That's completely wrong.
Shh.
He tells you that he assures you the door was closed and locked, and that he had stationed men to defend the place in case of burglars, who he imagines are now deceased upstairs.
2 of them are.
Like a 66 mortality rate.
Gotta say, your half orc is loyal. I mean, but he did say to hell with the money.
He tells you that if it's true that his half orc is loyal, it would be the first time a half orc ever was.
What was the name of this place?
Indrilioc's Manor. A family called the Indriliocs once owned and lived here.
So you're Lord Indriliok then?
He shakes his head no. Tells you he does not have the honor of being any sort of nobility. He holds no titles and has no family name.
Ask him about the flying pig, Alex.
Sure. Is there any light down here, or is it just from Scrappy?
Just Scrappy. Just what you've brought. Oh no, I'm sorry. He has a his workstation in the back here is candlelit, but you haven't actually seen it on the corner. You can just kind of see the flickering of the candle against the right side of his body.
I'll pull a stone out of my pack, hold it over the the light that's on Scrappy, and use magical investiture to make a picture of the flying pig sickle appear. Never seen this, have you?
And he leans back, and he relaxes his grip on the crossbow a little bit. You see him kind of very gingerly remove his hand and take it away. How are Lucius and Gus holding their weapons, if at all?
My weapons are at back sheets inside on my back and on my side.
Lucius has a crystal orb, like kind of idly hanging, like at his side. He's not actually holding it up, ready to cast magic or anything.
Okay. Yeah, the man removes his hand very cautiously from the crossbow.
And then once he does that, Lucius would then put the crystal away.
He tells you, or he asks you rather, would it surprise you to hear that I've seen that sigil on a letter that was delivered to me?
That would be the least surprising thing I've heard all day. And I'll get Scrappy out of the way. My crossbow's on my back, obviously, at this point.
Okay.
What did they promise you?
Are you stepping closer to him?
Yeah.
Okay. When you step closer to him, you see his hand move back to the crossbow. And he says, if it's all the same to you. And he kind of ushers you back.
Okay, but Badger's going to go back then. So we're in agreement.
He tells you that's agreeable.
So what did they promise you?
He says that the letter promised him many things that he was too canny to believe could be delivered. So he came to another arrangement with the flying pig.
What arrangement would that be?
He said that no doubt you've heard the flying pig offers Warlock's magic, great powers and supernatural feats.
Yes.
And he kind of motions his head towards the gadget that he's got pointed at you. He says, I'm already quite skilled in this department. What I needed was funding.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
He told him
Lucius actually cracks up at that.
he did some experimentation on the letter and the seal, which quite consumed all of these objects, which gave him the ability to trace the magic through the seal back to its source. And in this way, he contacted the flying pig and made him a counteroffer. He doesn't know.
Alex is kind of moving back at this point to let Lucius take over the conversation. Lucius is a much better talker than Alex's 7 charisma.
Okay. At about this time, your detect magic spells start going off. And there is nothing magical inside the room you're standing in. None of these, none of the workshop stuff. However, the crossbow that he's got aimed at Lucius and Scrappy is magical. And there's also some faint readings of magic from the area off to his side.
So what did you want us to look at?
They got their magic up. What are you directing our attention to?
And he says that he just wanted to put your mind at ease, that there was no magical tricks or traps in the room. Because he knows you, at this point you must have found the sails, and you must have found the burning hands that was stored here until recently.
Yeah, it was a note stored with the sails that led us to you. That is a deception?
Sure.
Seeker's not ratting out his source. That is a 18.
18. And he moves his hand back away from the trigger of the crossbow. Seeker tells him how they found him. He says he suspected that the flying pig might double-cross him at some point. He wouldn't be surprised if they seeded information to lead you to him.
It is generally the way of devils. They give you the exact letter of what they do and work around that.
And so where do we move from here, he says.
Alright, well, we're not the moss caps.
That's
Nope.
true.
However, the devil as far as we can tell, has been trying to blow up parts of the city, so you can see we're understandably concerned. Why don't you run us through what this material you bargained for is?
He says that the Flying Pig needed somewhere in town to coordinate various materials he'd be sending to his new warlocks, he says with some contempt. I told him that I could provide a safe place for these materials to rest until needed, in exchange for some amount of money to be placed in an account of his choosing at a particular bank in one of the wharf districts. He says that after the murder in Broken Wall, he realized that people would find that idiot Ruxby in his ridiculous cave.
Yeah, we
So
found that.
he spent most of the last 24 hours moving any materials out of the house to a safe location. And that, he says, is why you're not going to kill me, because you need to know where that is and what's being stored there.
And how to contact the Flying Pig.
What happens when you renege on your deal with the Flying Pig?
He says the nature of his deal with the Flying Pig was purely mercantile. He did not enter a pact. He did not sign a contract. So the Flying Pig can't dispose of him the way he's been disposing of his other failed warlocks.
Yeah.
At this moment in time, he's more concerned about the 7 of you.
That's reasonable. We're in the room with you.
So, here's what I propose. I have in my possession a pair of sending stones. I propose that I give one to you, and then you stand by and let me walk free out of this place. And in 1 week's time, you will receive a message telling you where to find the materials I have moved.
Are these permanent sending stones or invested sending stones?
He tells you that they're permanent, but he's only giving you one, and after he's sent you this crucial message, he's going to dispose of the other one, and you'll never see him again.
Fair
Let
enough.
us know where you dispose of it. We could have use for this other sending stone.
And you see a smile
fair.
creep across his face a little bit. And he looks at Seeker. He says, "You're a man that never misses an angle, are you?
It's my goal.
Not the sort of man to be disintegrated by magic in a dingy hotel room."
And Seeker,
Does he actually say
Seeker
that?
nods and then walks into the staircase.
He's still a little sensitive about that one.
You're a well-informed man, Mr. Lucius Vicious for a name.
And he gives a slight bow. He says, "Wolf. Tom Wolf."
Right.
And how did you contact the Flying Pig? You said you were able to get in contact with him.
He tells you that it wasn't easy. That after he opened the seal on the letter, and he goes through the whole spiel about how the seal puts images in your mind and talks to you directly. And he suspects that the seal is intended for a particular recipient. And he says, "Woe be to the person who opens a seal that was not addressed to them."
Yeah, that happened. We already figured that one out.
With a few weeks of work, he was able to more or less reverse engineer the magical wax used to make the seal. And through that, he was able to determine what kind of magical link is used to transmit messages, which gave him something to focus on when he cast a particular spell to contact the entity on the other side. Really quite elementary once you're no longer a level 3 Artificer.
If you have the notes on them, we can certainly use that.
And he thinks about that for a moment. And he says, "I have to admit, I'm caught off guard. I thought I would be bargaining for my life, but it sounds like it's you that's doing the bargaining."
Our major goal is to make ourselves a nuisance to this Flying Pig. I realize that you don't see yourself as betraying them, but I'm not so certain they would see it the same way. Us providing more of a distraction can only be of advantage to you.
So you are known to this entity, then?
Oh, yeah.
They've tried to kill us twice?
A few times now. It's very
I
exciting,
mean,
really.
if you count indirectly, maybe it doesn't.
And yet you're still standing in my basement.
Yep.
Luck had
It's
a
a
lot
nice
to do with
basement.
it, I would think.
What are the chances that you can find and destroy this entity?
Better by the day.
Non-zero.
You probably know that better than we do. We don't know entirely what he's capable of. We have some idea. You've actually made bargains.
He says he admits he's beginning to feel like he got in a little over his head. He saw an opportunity to make a lot of gold very quickly, but things have begun to spiral out of control. He's now seen what this entity can do to minions that have failed him, and he sees the lengths that he's willing to go to try to kill the lot of you. He says perhaps the only way that I can be safe on my pillow going forth is knowing that you're going to find him and destroy him.
If you would like us to destroy him, we have very reasonable rates.
He says, I'm sure you do, but... And he reaches over to his side